So, good evening, everyone. Are you enjoying your day here at Identity Shield? Yes? Okay, that's great. So, I just want to congratulate you all that you have finally made it to the last session. And let's not make you wait further. And let's get started. So, I am Vidushi Gupta, and this is my colleague Ajay Pratap Singh Bisht. And today we'll be taking you through two-way trust, securing web traffic with mutual TLS. So let's get started with a brief description about us. I am Vidushi and I'm a software engineer here at Mini Orange, and I've been working here in the domains single sign-on and API security. I am quite passionate about learning new things, connecting with people. So I'm quite a social person.
Hello everyone, I am Ajay and I am working over here Mini Orange from past 2.5 years, and I am working on the endpoint security domain and mainly working on the CASB. And so basically I love to have technical discussions, and that's my area of expertise. So let's begin. So let's begin with today's agenda. We'll be discussing starting with a session with the need of securing the web traffic. Next, we'll be moving ahead with brief info about TLS and MTLS. Next, we will be having discussion about benefits and use cases of MTLS. After that, we'll be hopping over to the case study of Stripe and Azure. At the last, we'll be looking forward how we can implement MTLS in a system. And in the last, we have our challenges.
Okay, so let's start with a question. Why is there even a need for securing a web traffic? Can anyone answer? Yes. Okay. So no malicious act goes on. That's where. Yes. Correct. Yes. Correct. Yes. 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 That's correct.
It's a connected world now, and that's the pillar of the security, confidentiality, integrity, and the availability. And in the connected world, we everything, even I mean our normal network, even our IPsec tunnels and everything is over the internet. Nothing is secure because security can say 100% security is a myth.
It's a myth.
Okay,
Yes.
so the web traffic is really important to be secured.
Yes. Okay. So the answers are definitely correct. There are so many things going on, like MITM attacks. What is an MITM attack? So let's consider a scenario where you, as a client, are connecting to a server and someone in the middle tries to impersonate you and tries to steal the information in the middle of the communication. Then we have unauthorized access, which we are quite familiar with. Like someone accesses it who is not authorized to access any particular data. Then we have impersonation attacks and data breaches and bot attacks. So this all sums up and brings up the question, why is there the need for securing web traffic? So how have we been doing this? Is there no way we have been securing our web traffic till now? Yes, we have. Let's see how.
So at present, broadly, we are using TLS as our securing mechanism. So first you will be wondering what is TLS? TLS is transport layer security, and it's basically protocol designed to secure your communication, encrypt all the communication between your client and your server. Why it is commonly used over your HTTPS protocol? You might have heard about the HTTPS protocols. So commonly it is used over there. So let's begin how the TLS handshake works. So the communication starts with a client hello and a server hello. So basically, in this space, an TCP connection has been made between a client and a server. So after that TCP connection has been made, a certificate or a public certificate will be sent to the client, and it will be authenticated against the client certificate authority of client. Next, after authentication, we'll be encrypting a session key using that public certificate and sending it back to the server. This all process is called a key exchange. So why it is helpful? So by using the secure communication secure session key, an encrypted tunnel between client and a server will be established, and using that secured encrypted channel, all the communications will be made further on. So why we are using the public key over here? So public key basically makes your encryption and asymmetric encryption, and by using that we'll be just encrypting your session keys, and further on using that as a encrypting mechanism for your for your all requests and responses. So is it perfect? No. So it lacks client-side authentication. As we have seen in the diagram, the certificate authority of client only verifies the server side, server certificates, but there is no authentication on server's end. So there is a flaw in that process. Next, there is no built-in authorization between a client and a server in this total scenario. After that, client identity verification has been missing in this scenario. Since client certificates are not being authenticated on the server side, there could be chances of MITM attacks in this kind of situations. So I can impersonate a client and further on impersonating as a server to the client. So it's like a broker. Next, scalability and certificate management is also a mess over here. And at the last, secure internal communications. So there might be chances of impersonation in these kind of communications where a client's identity is not managed well. So how we can fix this situation?
So here comes MTLS. MTLS is nothing but an extension to a classic TLS protocol. MTLS is a security protocol that ensures both the client and server are authenticated against each other, making a secure connection possible. So what is the purpose of this MTLS? It ensures that there is an end-to-end encryption and mutual authentication whenever there is a communication between the client and a server, right? And where would this be commonly used? Can you think of any examples? Okay, and any other examples? Okay, so this would be used wherever the security is top priority, maybe like finance and banking. Defense, yes. So this is the common use cases of MTLS. Let's move ahead to how MTLS handshake works. Now you have seen how a TLS handshake works, and let's see and deep dive into MTLS. So there's a client and server. Then it starts with a client hello, in which the server responds with its server hello. And then the server sends its certificate, which is verified by the client. And this is the additional step where the client sends its certificates and is verified by the server. Now, this process ends up in exchanging the cryptographic keys between the client and the server, making an encrypted channel between both of them and ensuring secure communications. So, this makes sure that both the parties involved are authenticated against each other and no one can impersonate each other. Now, let's talk about what could be the benefits of MTLS. So, starting off, we have enhanced security. Why not? So, now that we are verifying both the client and the server, the security layer is additional here, and hence enhanced security. Then we have granular access control. So, since no one can just impersonate any client here, what happens is you can put on different policies for different clients and hence have access control on a granular level. Not not exactly like PAM, but this would just provide you access on a granular level.
Basically, it's been used in like environment. There are two types of environment: monolithic servers architecture, and there is your microservices architectures. When there is a microservice architecture and you are using MTLS as a communication between them, in that case, and there is a possibility of multiple APIs are calling multiple services. So in that scenario, you can just define the granular access based on that server itself as well. So let's assume there are two microservices A and B, and they are responding to a server. So in that scenario, if you just want to restrict on based on some certain conditions, that only at certain condition microservice A can connect to the server, and so that's all. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Privileges and access, yes. Okay, and then we have defense against MITM attacks because one client cannot impersonate another one. So there's definitely a defense mechanism against the MITM attacks that go on. With that, we have our use cases. We already discussed this where we can use them. So I'll quickly get you through it. First is banking and finance because the security is top priority in those sectors. Then we have healthcare. They have a lot of important patient data that cannot just be breached by anyone or should not be. Then we have government and defense and B2B communications as well. Gonna click a pic. Okay. Should I? All right. And then we move on to an interesting use case, Stripe. So I hope everyone has heard about Stripe and some day or the other must have used Stripe as well. So where can this be of use to Stripe? This can be in use. So basically the question is, how does Stripe secure their financial transactions? Because all your financial transactions that are going through Stripe have crucial information about you. So, okay. So Stripe is a payment gateway. Yes. Yes. Paytm, PayPal, you must have heard about that. Razorpay. Yes. So they have APIs through which transactions happen, financial transactions happen. Okay. Sorry. So when we question that, we come to what the challenges are actually that Stripe would be looking to resolve. First one would be prevent unauthorized API access. Then we have ensure data integrity and confidentiality. So this is definitely ensured when we have a MTLS connection over here. And since they have a lot of interactions happening per second, billions and millions of interactions happening per second, this is crucial. And unauthorized access and data breaches. Then, how does MTLS help with this? So, it helps with securing all your external API communications to make sure that each party is authenticated before they communicate with each other. Then we have internal service communication as well. So whatever internal communications are going on between the Stripe's services, APIs, whatever it is, so that is also secure. And after that, automated certificate management. So this is also a important step that needs to be taken care of when you're implementing MTLS, which you'll be seeing later on. Now,
So next we will be moving ahead with a case study of the Azure. So in Azure, what challenges they were facing against protecting their APIs and microservices. I have just briefly explained that to you, their internal communication. So let's go to, it's not working, not working. Okay. So how Azure is securing their customer-facing APIs. So there are two kinds of APIs, server-to-server APIs, and there are one APIs like customer-facing APIs. So these APIs will be communicating on behalf of customer to their servers. So as you have seen, you might be have worked with Microsoft Teams, I guess. So in Teams, there is a case study in which you won't be able to just log in, basically bypass their security using the MITM traffic. Since they use the MTLS communication over there, in that scenario, each and every request is authenticated on both end, client's end and the server's end. This secures their transactions too well. So how does it work? Unauthorized access. So when I am talking about unauthorized access, so we also tried doing that. We also tried configured one MITM server in between your Microsoft Teams and their original server. But as they have configured the MTLS layer between them, so the impersonation part is next to impossible. You won't be able to just impersonate that communication. Next, there was data interception risk. As the data is intercepted between this communication, anything can be changed. Your credentials might be, what you can say, just captured and used against your wills. Next, we have compliance issues. So in day-to-day life, organizations are moving ahead with compliances. There are GDPR, there are many more compliances. Next, we have API exploitation. So API exploitation is like you might be just DDoSing that API to just make their servers crash. So all these are challenges which were faced by Azure, and these were resolved using your MTLS. How? The client is authenticated on each end. If you're trying to exploit any API using the DDoS, you won't be able to do the client authentication using in the case scenarios of DDoS because there is no certificate authority present in that scenario. So it is a solution for that thing as well. Next, we have secure communication. As we are using MTLS, the communication is already been upgraded. In the last regulatory compliances, since the security level is increased, getting the compliances is much more easier after that. And the controlled API access. So as Vidushi has discussed earlier, we do get a accessibility of granular access control over in the cases of MTLS. So we do have controlled API access based on the requirements. The APIs can be hit and the responses might be received to the client side. In the next scenario, they were protecting their internal microservices in Azure. So it was like a server-to-server communication. So they were facing issues like unsecured service communication. So let's assume there is a case where you might get the access of their environment, VPC environment. In that case as well, since you don't have the certificate authority of that microservice, you won't be able to make any more communications between that server and you won't be able to make any request. So that secures your communication much more well. Next, we have lack of mutual authentication. Lack of mutual authentication is like in the cases of TLS, it was easier to bypass the security using certain like using the network sniffing tools. You can just sniff the network and just bypass their security. You can just take out the data from the packets, and it was easy back then. Next, there were visibility gaps in this situation. It's about transport layer security authentications. Yeah. So after MTLS, the mutual authentication was established between them. Next, the encrypted communication is much more encrypted now because in this scenario, in the cases of MTLS and TLS, there is a difference. in the cases of TLS, you use a session secret which is generated by client side and which is made through your session. But in cases of MTLS, you use the public keys, that is the RSA keys. So it is much more secured, and now it's an asymmetric cryptography. So it is much more secured in compared to the TLS. Next, comprehensive logging. So basically you will be able to log every events. Since now client is authenticated, you know which client has made the request. You will be easily able to just log the requests which are made by the client side. Next, zero trust alignment. So let's get a slight idea about the zero trust. Zero trust is like trust nobody. Always authenticate first and just don't give access blindly. So in the cases of zero trust, MTLS also fits in. How? Basically, we are establishing the client side authentication in each request. So every time a new request is made between the client and a server, we authenticate the client, and the server is also authenticating the client, and the client is authenticating the server. So the vice versa mechanism is happening over here as well. So this fits aligns with the zero trust as well. Next is like how to implement the MTLS. So MTLS, yeah. 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 So there are two mechanisms in that. One is Kubernetes pod-based mechanism. In that mechanism, what you do, your service is working on the HTTP protocol, but first it is attached with another service which is handling your MTLS part. So first that service will be triggered and your mutual authentication will be taken place. And after that successful authentication, your transaction will be made using your APIs. Yeah. It it depends on you. Basically, if you just want to implement this scenario, if it is in the same architecture and if it's in a different architecture, that depends on security to security. If you want to secure your communication much more well, you will be applying that communication over there. So let's begin with how to implement MTLS. So basically, this is a basic overview how you can just implement and how you can just try it in your local environment as well. So first, we will be setting up a certificate authority. So why there is a need of certificate authority? So as we discussed in the MTLS working, we said public key is being authenticated by the certificate authority. So how does it works? Certificate works with two things. First thing is your private key. Second thing is your public key. And those private keys and public keys are generated by some certificate provider, which uses a certificate authority to sign these certificates. So in this scenario also, we'll be setting up a certificate authority. Next, we'll be generating certificates using that certificate authority. And let's assume there are two services, and in between them, we are just configuring the MTLS flow. Now, we'll be creating two set of certificate authorities and two set of certificates in them. Now we'll be configuring this web server, and both of the web servers will be given their certificate authorities, and both of the servers will be given their certificates. Now when the communication has been made, first the certificate authority will be, so there comes a catch in this situation as well. Both of the certificate authorities should be present on both ends. That's how you're going to identify which certificate is valid. So when the service A contacts to service B, it sends its public key and it will be authenticated against the certificate authority of service A. And the vice versa will happen in the case of the response from service B to service A. Next, we'll be updating the client configurations. Will be like the same scenario in the first. Basically, by default, it happens through TLS. But when you provide these certificate authorities on the both ends, the secure communication upgrades to the MTLS level. Next, we do have the enable strict TLS handshakes. So we'll be enabling the strict TLS handshakes. That means we'll be verifying the client as well this time. So strict TLS handshake only means over here, like in the normal TLS, we only verify the server identity, not the client's identity. But strict handshake identifies both client and a server. Next, we should test these implementations before deploying it. So you can just test it using the Postman or trying using the curl request. And if it blocks, then you are going on the right path. So after this, you need to monitor and rotate the certificates. So when I'm saying rotate the certificates, why do we need to rotate the certificate? Does anyone have any idea? Exactly. So you need to rotate your certificate authorities and certificates as well from time to time to maintain a high level of security in your environment. So does MTLS solves everything? Is it the final solution? So rotation of certificates is like your certificate expires after a certain duration, and there might be a possibility of human errors. Like by mistake, you just put your certificates in your, let's assume, in your pull requests. So there might be a chances of leaking of those certificates. So you need to you need to maintain the data integrity over here, and to enhance your security, you should rotate your certificates time to time in the MTLS environments. Exactly, same. Yeah. So as you have also seen, like certificate providers like GoDaddy and all, they just only provide you certificates for a year or so. So this is also one reason just to change your certificates and rotate them to just maintain the security in a better way. So does MTLS resolves everything? What do you guys think? Is it the final solution?
Yes, it's not. So definitely there are a few challenges with MTLS as well, starting with the compatibility, and the performance overhead follows it, because since there is an additional step now that we are also verifying the client, it increases performance overhead. And with that, client certificate distribution, that is that is also a challenge. And after that, certificate management, as we just talked about it, so rotating the certificates and everything, that comes under certificate management. So, what are the key takeaways? So, we discussed why is there even in need of securing our web traffic? There are so many kind of attacks going on: data breaches, bot attacks, MITM attacks, unauthorized API access, etc. There's an endless list. And then we talk about how we have been securing our traffic till date, that is TLS, and how MTLS adds a layer of security. And
Basically, quick points like how MTLS is enhancing your security, but there are certain catches as well in MTLS. So you have to do some manual works, like you have to maintain your certificate management manually, because these certificate authorities generate these certificates in this scenario. You can automate these processes, no doubt. There are ways to automate, and you do automate these processes using the Let's Encrypt servers. If anyone has heard about those servers, so those are certificates. Basically, those certificate authorities are like you will be generating your certificates in a duration of 3 months each. So all these are the basically key takeaways. It does secure your communication, but it adds an additional step as well. Nothing is perfect in this world. So let's conclude this session with this. And does anyone have any questions for us?
Hello. So I have two questions. First question is how MTLS is different than just normal TLS, but with configuration on proxies to set client-side authentication. I mean, it's not a different protocol. It's a TLS only, but it just differs in how you configure your server. So basically, if you configure your servers like Apache and Nginx or something, with that setting that your validating client-side certificate is mandatory, then it becomes MTLS, right? It's nothing different than, right? Another thing was, second question was, it was mentioned in one of the slides that about certificate rotation and automation. So, any comments on that?
So the certificate automation part is similar what I described in the last Let's Encrypt certificate bots. So there are some internal communications between the APIs. In those APIs, you won't be using some basically certificate providers to generate your because you don't have the certificate authorities of your certificate providers. So in that scenario, you need to either you need to be a certificate authority itself and you need to be registered certificate authority, or you need to generate a certificate authority for yourself and generate the certificates. So in that scenario, in the second scenario, you need to rotate the certificates manually by yourself. And regarding your first question, can you just repeat the last proxies part? I just missed that one.
First question.
Yeah.
First question was you confirmed, right?
Yeah.
MTLS or mutual TLS is not a
Yeah.
different protocol version.
It's nothing
the
different,
same,
but
but
it's
just the
just-
configuration
yeah.
on server side it makes it MTLS, right?
Yes, it just adds an extra step of identifying the client as well, just authenticating the client as well in the process.
And actually, on the second question was kind of not answered, was like certificate rotation, which like is a problem. And when it comes to MTLS, where you need to distribute your client certificates to thousands of machines because you need to validate each and every client. In that case, rotation becomes a bigger problem.
Yeah.
So how that can be done automatically?
So that's where Let's Encrypt is used. Let's Encrypt is like a well-known certificate authority, and it's already in your browsers. So you don't just need to go and install it in your browsers. And if you are owning a certificate authority, like Microsoft owns its own certificate authority, so in that scenario, all your browsers have certain global certificate authorities providers. Like GoDaddy is also installed in your browser. You don't need to install the certificate authority of GoDaddy itself. So that's why I was saying, in case of Let's Encrypt, you get a 3-month certificate, which you need to rotate again to just enable the MTLS part. But I guess that was you were looking for the answer.
So I was actually looking for any, is there any industry tool to do an automation on server side?
No.
Yes, on client side, Let's Encrypt, or if it is an organization takes care of it. But on server, on machines, is there any tool? I think there were some tools to update the certificates automatically.
So in the client side, basically, you won't be needing those tools because based on your certificate authority, only the certificates will be generated by browser itself for identifying your client. You won't be needing any certificates for that. For the server side, you will be needing to generate those certificates using the Let's Encrypt, and that is an automation process in that scenario. You don't need to automate the process for the client side. So
So Let's Encrypt will take care of that.
yeah, it's a free open source service for basically. So on top of that, people have made solutions to automate the process of generating the certificates. Basically, it help first you need to point the A records to that, and or you can just using the C names, you can just point the C names over their server and generate those certificates using that. So basically, using the Apache and the Let's Encrypt commands, you just generate the certificates of your domains. So that part is the automation part, which basically people usually do. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. So I have two questions. The first one is that as we said that in MTLS we are requiring two CS certificate authorities, one for client, one for server. My question is that do both of them need to use the same CA authority, same certificate authority or not? And the second is that what will be the difference between SSL and MTLS? How do they differ, and which one is better?
So SSL and TLS. SSL is the earlier version of TLS. So first SSL version 1.0 was there. Then it was enhanced further on, and then later on stages it was changed to TLS. So what is the difference between these? So in the previous starting slides, let me just quickly. Can you just restart the PPT? Yeah, just wait. So how SSL and TLS has been changed. So earlier there used to be a SYNAC request. And in the SSL layer, there are 6 steps of basically to establish the entire connection. There is a need of 6-step process. In that step, you will using the SYN and ACK to make the TCP connection. Then after that, you will be using client and server hello to make another TCP connection. To in that connection, you will be exchanging your server certificates and it will be exchanging the session key. But in case of TLS, in the first step, the TCP connection has been made and the exchange has been started. So it just reduces 2 steps in the process. So that's why TLS has been upgraded version of SSL.
And my another question was that does the server and the client have to use the same certificate authority?
So it depends. It totally depends. If the example which I gave to you about the server A and server B exchanging the certificate authorities, and both certificate authorities needs to be present to work on the both end. In that scenario, I am putting an extra layer of authentic, basically creating the certificate authority signs your certificates. So I am signing the certificates using 2 different certificate authorities. So I am making it much more secure, but you can use the same certificate authority as well. So it is possible.
So, for example, if I'm creating my certificate for my client from GoDaddy,
Yeah.
and for the server I'm using Let's Encrypt or Zero SSL for issuing the SSL certificate. So, is it mandated that both the parties should actually validate the certificate issued by their respective CA certificates?
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm having that condition, then I can use different CAs. But if it is not, I have to use the same authority.
Yes. So in that scenario, both the certificate authorities needs to be present on both end. So that's how you're gonna identify your certificates.
Thank you.
So any other question?
So I have 2 questions. Uh, I understand from S to S calls, but in case of a client browser, right? So how this certificates will be stored, and in case of I'm server will have multiple clients, right? So for every server, I need to have a separate certificate or what?
No.
In which
So
MPLS.
basically, as she told us about the Stripe use case. So in the case of Stripe, don't you think कि directly certificates वहाँ पे आप सारी certificate authority clients की अपने साइड स्टोर करोगे? नहीं. So they might be using a certificate authority जो कि already आपके browsers में present होनी चाहिए. तभी वो सारा आपका कम्युनिकेशन आप मैच कर पाओगे इस साइड से. सो सेम केस ही एज ही मेंशन कि सिंगल अथॉरिटी के थ्रू भी हम ये चीज़ पॉसिबल कर सकते हैं, पर क्लाइंट साइड का जो आपका सर्टिफिकेट साइन होगा वो भी उसकी अथॉरिटी से वहीं साइन होके आएगा. लेट्स अज्यूम कि एक XYZ नाम की अथॉरिटी है जो आपके सर्टिफिकेट्स आपके ब्राउजर में है, जिसके अगेंस्ट सर्वर ने सर्टिफिकेट्स जनरेट किए थे. तो अब वो अथॉरिटी आपके ब्राउजर में भी है, तो वो वहाँ पे भी आपका वेरिफिकेशन करेगा और उसी के अगेंस्ट आपके सर्टिफिकेट उसको भी देगा ताकि वो वेरीफाई कर पाए उस सर्टिफिकेट को.
But how in client how the certificates will be securely stored? What if I did something wrong and that certificate got compromised? So that again will lead to a IDOR attack, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So usually, usually the certificate authorities are stored inside your browser level, and in the developer mode only you can just add a custom certificate authorities in that. So by default, you have certain set of certificate authorities pre-installed in your browser. When you just install your browsers, all the certificate authorities are already present over there. And there are some authorities like system level certificate authorities. When you say you might have heard about the cases like I am watching over your system what you are doing, like that kind of scenarios. You are just having a call with some of your colleague, and I am just taking the control of your system by using a third-party software. So what I am doing the MITM attack on you. In that scenario, I have installed a system-level certificate authority, which is basically impersonating and transferring all your traffic through me, and I am also seeing all communication happening between you guys. So that's how it works. It is a crucial part to maintain your system well in these scenarios.
Whether server can validate that certificate got compromised or something, is
Yeah.
it possible?
If it's a case of MTLS, yes.
Okay. If MTLS only supports RSA or any other algorithm?
MTLS supports RSA and other algorithms as well. There are a few other algorithms, like I don't just remember the exact name. Like it does support. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please drop a feedback if you have one. Thank you.
So much. We'd love to hear your feedback. And we hope you just enjoyed the whole conference. And thank you so much.